Before we begin, we'd like to remind you that forex trading involves significant risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Please pause the screen and read the full disclosure. Thank you.
Take a look at another pair. USD yen outlook. Here again. I had been bullish on this pair, and I was bullish because I believed that with the coming USD strength, or the continuing USD strength that we've seen throughout January and February, that we were going to move up in that direction. However, we've also seen another factor come along in that same time period, and that has been the weakness in equities. The S&P and the Dow had been on quite a run. They had made their lows back in March of 2009, and as the year started, I think a lot of people believed that that run was going to continue, and that ran pretty hard into a brick wall. And what happens is when the equities markets come off like that, money will flow out of equities and towards the yen, and the yen gets stronger in these situations. It might seem a little bit counterintuitive. However, that's what I believe we've been seeing, and I think that it's become a stronger move than I had originally anticipated. This is the first time I've come out and said that I'm now bearish on this pair. And until the equities find another strong base and begin another march upwards, I think that more money will tend to flow towards the yen than will to the U.S. dollar. Even though I see the U.S. dollar as being strong in other pairs, I think this is one where the yen is going to be more of a beneficiary of those flows. And at least in the short run, I think we're still within some range areas. However, we're getting precariously near the bottom of that, to where even my near-term sentiment would probably have to switch to bearish as well. This is one that could, like I said, could switch on a moment's notice. Very difficult to call this one 3 months out, but I have changed it from bullish to bearish this week, and let's go ahead and take a look at the chart and see if that matches up with what I'm seeing here. All right, so here we are on the yen weekly. We had made a move up, and this week here was early January. So here, once the equities markets got weak, we started making our weekly downward moves. Last week, we saw that equities were trying to make a little bit of a base. I think that there were a lot of people that were willing to try to buy some support when they saw it. There were some key levels of support that were tested and looked like they were going to hold last week. Even this week, we saw a higher high from last week, but here we are later in the week, and we're heading in the wrong direction again. So let's go down to the daily and see what price action has done for us. Once again, similar to the Euro chart, we made an attempt this week to come up, and I was even looking for a retrace to a little bit higher level. We didn't have a chance to get up here towards this trend line. Then it fell like a rock yesterday. And this candle here is only a few hours old. These candles are drawn based on the New York close. So yeah, yesterday's equities and the news that came out really punched a hole in the bulls' plans. And we'll take a look a little bit later here at what happened specifically with some of the indices. I think that there's a story there that we need to look at, and this chart here looks very much like the indices charts that I look at. So In the short run, I think another little bit of a retrace, maybe retrace half to 2/3 of this candle here, but maybe even let's try a little bit of a line here. Maybe come back up and try to touch this trend line, or even test. There's probably reasonable support or a reasonable resistance in here somewhere around. Let's just call it. Let's call it 89 or 89, 83, around in there, or maybe even as high up as this area here where these candles have died out, which would be 90, 50-ish. A little bit of a wide zone. Take a look at your own system, see what your indicators or your entry parameters tell you. But there's probably an execution zone there to the short side, unless equities suddenly wake up tomorrow and everything is good and we're gonna the world is saved because the NFP number comes out to be something that somebody somewhere says that means it's a good number. I would say that we're looking at some reasonable downside. If we get, once again, if we hold below this support in here and break this one again, there's a lot of opportunity for this pair to continue in this direction. That would mean that the Dow probably breaks 10,000. I think it closed at 10,002 today. So the equities our markets are in very critical support areas. If 10,000, the psychological level, busts, which I would imagine there's no way we'll get through tomorrow without at least trading below that. With the NFP, who knows where it could close? It could close at 10,300 again, and go up 300 points. But right now, the equities markets are looking to the downside, and as long as they do, I think a lot of people are going to be going more in the direction of the yen rather than the US dollar here. So consider that and trade your own accounts accordingly. All right.